watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. We celebrate Heritage Month here on the episode by putting a spotlight on exceptional young people. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
Simbingelele sinamukele, and I'm your host, Umxolisi wakwaMasango. Njoba sesingenile ku Heritage Month, we're putting a special spotlight on young people who are driven by excellence as well as impact. Kanjalo ke sobe sikhulumisana nabo on the show namhlanje. What do you have to say about the conversation that we are having? Take a look at the first insert.
You're watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. We are putting a very important spotlight on young people who are driven by excellence and making an impact in their communities. Right now, I'm going to be meeting a young person who actually fits exactly that description. Let's go inside and meet her. You're so incredibly accomplished. I mean, tell us a little bit about your work and what it is that you've done.
I've always just been into people. I've always been a social sciences kind of person. I got invited to a high school in Ekala, where Minister Gwede Mantashe was going to be speaking. So I got invited to also motivate learners. And after I did that motivation, oh my gosh, it was the best 20 minutes of my life to that point. And so then I knew that this is what I want to do with my life. I want to speak in front of people. I want to change people's lives through words. Since I was still in university, word got around campus that I was a motivational speaker. So different faculties within the university started inviting me, and the different organizations and societies started inviting me. Seeing that I was already a student in agriculture, I just thought, you know what, let me complete this degree. I completed my degree. And after that, I went and I did life coaching course. And after university, I did corporate motivation as well. Some departments within the government sector, SABC, to motivate their workers and their employees. So my name is Matisa, like you said, and I am a motivational speaker. I am a life coach. I am a leadership coach. I am an agricultural consultant.
You know, when we're talking about women of distinction and obviously women of excellence, what does that mean for you?
Okay, so for me, it has always been women standing out, women showing that it can be done. I did it and it can be done. So I realized that being a woman of substance and standing out is not just to say, well, I am the first, or I am the only woman to do this, the richest woman in Africa or what have you, but it is being able to use what you have learned, what you have gained to grow other people and to make sure that the people who come after you have it better and they have a way. Those things did not deter me. I passed my matric with distinctions because I believed in myself. I chose to hear what I wanted to hear, which was, I am great, I am smart, I am beautiful, I am important.
And you are a Black female and you're also living with a disability. So you're Black, you're young, you're female, and you're living with a disability. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
One of the major disadvantages is that people don't take me serious, or people don't take me as serious as I would like to be taken serious. There have been opportunities that were open to people around the country, and when you either call a person or when you show up at the office, first of all, it's in agriculture. Agriculture is a male-dominated field, and so when you show up as a woman, already people are thinking that you're not going to cut it, you're not going to able to do this. And then as a Black woman, people, I don't know why, but people always think that Black women aren't as educated as they are. You always have to produce your papers. You always have to sing your accolades. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, just so you can be taken serious. And the third, living with a disability. I have a physical disability, but somehow people associate that with mental disabilities as well. So the minute that you tell them you want to do this and this and that, they question your mental abilities to do that. And so there are some opportunities that I believe that I could have gotten or should have gotten, but because I am a Black woman living with a disability, I was sidelined in those. So basically, your accreditation, your accolades are always questioned as a Black woman living with a disability. Those things did not deter me. I passed my matric with distinctions because I believed in myself. I chose to hear what I wanted to hear, which was I'm great, I'm smart, I am beautiful, I am important.
What kind of a footprint as a woman do you want to leave behind?
I would like people to remember me for allowing people to live out their purpose, to know their purpose, and to know that they are valuable. I think that my purpose in life, and that's what I've been doing as a motivational speaker, the point I always try to drive across is that you are important, you are valuable just as you are. And so I would like to be remembered as that person who showed people that they are valuable and they are important just as they are.
And as we commemorate Heritage Month, what does that actually mean for you?
I believe that heritage is more than being Xhosa or Tsonga or Zulu or being millennial, if you will. It's that our heritage comes from deep within us. Who are you when everything else is taken away? Who are you when you are not with your friends? Who are you when you are not at work? And that is the person that we should always be true to. So if you, when you're alone, without the pressures of the world, if you identify as this and this, and that, I believe that that's the person that you should stand out to be. Nobody should feel pressured to get dressed in a certain way. Nobody should feel pressured to speak a particular language. Nobody should feel pressured to eat a particular food. But that which you feel that you are when you are alone, that which you most identify with, then do that. I believe that's what heritage is. When everything is taken away, who are you? And believe that I am the best striker that this country has ever seen. And I will play for that Bakalapa, I will play for that Pirates, I will play for that Sundowns. I will not mention Kings and Chiefs.
And for young people out there who are incredibly inspired by you and they're looking at you and they're like, I just want to be like her. What are your words of encouragement to them?
You are enough. You are valuable. You are important, and you are worthy. I believe that the world says a lot of negative things towards about us and to us. You are called all sorts of names, but what is important is what you believe of yourself, because that's what you will always carry with you. You may leave a toxic environment, but if the toxic words lie within you and you have believed them, then no matter where you go, you will carry them with you. And so my words of encouragement is that it doesn't matter where you are or who you are around or what they say, just have words that you speak to yourself, that you believe of yourself, because sometimes not all of us are privileged to leave toxic people. Not all of us are privileged to leave toxic environments. But what's powerful is when the words that you believe about yourself, the things that you speak to yourself, if those things can stick to you, then there is nothing that you cannot do. There is nothing that you cannot get out of. Just speak words of encouragement to yourself. People may say you will not amount to anything, but if you deep inside of you believe that you can amount to the best version of yourself, then it will not matter what people say. Absolutely nothing impossible for you in this world. I love you.
What an inspirational conversation, and it's always inspiring to see young people who are so passionate about the cause. We continue with this all-important discussion. Masbuya, you watching Expressions.
Welcome back. You are still watching Expressions, and as we commemorate and celebrate Heritage Month, we thought it would be important for us to put a spotlight on young people who are driven by excellence as well as impact. Now, if impact is the way that you should be defining your life as a young person, this next insert is definitely going to inspire you. Take a look at this.
Okay, so today's conversations takes us to Maboneng, where we're meeting up with a young and dynamic lady, Notando Wagamuloyi, who's going to be talking to us about what she does and why she's so passionate about it. Let's go meet her.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Notando and I make videos on construction, lifestyle and travel.
Notando, Sigbingela Skwamgela, welcome to Expressions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so please tell us about your work.
Okay, so I am a quantity surveyor, and that basically means that I am like the accountant of the construction industry. I manage all sorts of quantities on a construction site, making sure that the site does not lose any money. So what a site QS pretty much does is manage the ongoings on a construction site. You manage subcontractors, you manage the costs on a day-to-day basis, you make sure that material is not wasted, and you allocate the costs of whatever's happening on site to the appropriate parties. That's literally what a site QS does.
Okay, talk to us about your YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. So as much as I've known that I wanted to be in this technical environment, I'm also a very creative person on the side. So I started the YouTube channel as a way to harness my creative side. I did a little short photography course, and then I decided to merge the two concepts together, being a quantity surveyor and sharing about quantity surveying. And I have found it to be so more fulfilling because more and more people are knowing about the profession. More girls are asking questions or asking me to be their mentor.
Please research exactly how much the intern or the junior positions are getting.
And the reason that people still get such or start off so low is because they don't know what to expect.
Not just like a rich,
Because rich is not a number, guys. A client that revises joins 889 times. When you're eating at the bride, don't eat like you're having a great time. Eat like, oh my God, why are we rewriting these quantities by hand? Work relationships make or break the company. That's what I don't even know why you'd want to do that, because that's uncomfortable, first of all. You know how guilty you feel like for being late? You need to draw the line because your colleagues are not your friends.
So what motivated you to get into the sector?
So I've always known that I'm going to be in the engineering and the built environment. I think subconsciously having a sister who's already in this sector was a given. I have a love for the construction industry. I loved top billing growing up, so I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I just followed through with it.
So I want to know from you, what are some of the challenges that you come across, first of all, as a young person in the sector that you're in?
Construction is a very male-dominated and very old industry, so there are a lot of challenges that you face as a woman, from catcalling, sexual harassment on site, and not to being taken seriously, especially if you are built the way I am. So there are a lot of challenges that I face as a woman on site on a daily.
How do you overcome those challenges?
More and more women are speaking up, especially with the small things. There's a lot of things like these microaggressions that people don't talk about, where you just overlook somebody catcalling you. And as soon as we start reporting the tiniest of things, there's a big change coming in. So we're not keeping quiet anymore. You're not just letting things slide. And yeah, that's how we're fighting back. It's still a very long journey though, but more and more women are speaking up and standing their ground.
So on the show, we're talking about young people who are quite passionate about what they do, driven by excellence as well as impact. What does the word excellence in its essence mean to you?
The word excellence to me is consistency, I think. I think you can work on a goal, but if you're not consistent at it, then you will never achieve it. So being consistent is what I would associate with the word excellence, and that's what it means to me. I've been consistent throughout my journey, and this is how I've made it this far. So consistency is excellence.
So September is Heritage Month in the country. What does Heritage Day mean to you?
Heritage Day to me just means taking pride in who you are as an African child, as a black girl, black man, and it's just that, being proud of who you are and just, yeah, celebrating that.
Okay, so now you're speaking to young people who watch Expressions and could be looking up to you right now and thinking, hey, I want to be like Unotando, I want to be in the construction and built environment sector. What does it take
Do your research, find out if you have the strengths to be in it, personality tests, and as soon as you're aligned with that, I think anybody can do it if it's really what you want to do.
So your words of inspiration to the many young South Africans right now?
I'd say to South African women who are in this male-dominated area is not to try change who you are. It's so easy to fall into the trap of trying to be a bit more manly just because you're a woman in a male-dominated area. But I think be true to who you are, and then your tasks and goals are so easily achievable that way.
It's always so encouraging to see young people who are still so passionate about what they do. What do you have to say about the conversation that we're having? Sikhona ku Facebook, ku Twitter, kanye na ku Instagram. We're back right after this.
Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions, your number one youth current affairs show. We are still commemorating and celebrating Heritage Month. And this episode, we are putting a spotlight on young people who are driven by excellence as well as impact. Now, our next lady is no exception. She is reminding us that ethnic hair is not only beautiful, but it's exceptionally unique. Let's take a look at our next insert. You're watching Expressions, your number one youth current affairs show. We are all the way in Pretoria, and we are putting a spotlight on young people who are driven by excellence and impact. Now, this particular young person is definitely making an impact in the space of ethnic hair. Let's go and meet her. A very warm welcome to Expressions. Thank you so much for sitting down and having this chat with us. What motivated you to enter into the space?
What I knew is that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And when the time came for me to leave full-time employment and venture into entrepreneurship, I literally just took all the ideas that I had, did an evaluation, and through a process of elimination, I ended up with a business in the hair care industry. And it's as simple as that. That's how I started.
And has business always been a part of your plans? I mean, what did you start doing? Before this, what were you doing?
As I went through life, I took the educational route. I went and studied, and then I worked in the mining industry as a process engineer for about 8 years until I decided to then leave my job and venture into business. I realized that, being an engineer and coming from a technical background, there was a gap in terms of business acumen. So I identified that as one of the hurdles that would limit my chances of actually making it into the business world. So I went and I studied. So by the time I actually took the leap, I was prepared enough. I felt that, I had the business acumen, I had done my research, I had the funds that I needed to actually establish something, and yeah, I ran with it.
And how long have you been running your business for? I mean, give us a scope of how long have you been running it for? How many employees do you have currently right now?
So I left my job in 2017, mid-2017. So it took me about 2 years to secure a location where we can actually start running the business. So 2019 March, that's when we opened our first branch in Centurion. And then this year in March, we opened our second branch in Linwood, Pretoria.
How'd you come up with the name? I mean, what's the inspiration behind the name?
So yeah, the team gave me a few options, and then Doodle Kids, for me, it resonated with me because kids love to doodle, but also in the salon business, when the stylists are doing the hair, it's almost like their version of doodling. And yeah, that's how we ended up with Doodle Kids.
And why the kids so young, as opposed to maybe the much older sort of like target market? Why is your focus on a younger target market?
I decided that, sometimes when you wait until people are grown-ups or they're adults to educate them about certain things, it's a bit too late. So I felt that, we'll have more of an impact if we start with a girl child when she is young, telling her that her hair is beautiful, because we used to be told that our hair is not nice, it needed to be relaxed, all that, it needed to be straightened, and all sorts of things. So when you start teaching kids at a young age that they are beautiful as they are, they are more accepting of who they are, and then they will never allow other people to dictate what their standard of beauty should be.
And as we celebrate Heritage Month, and you are obviously an entrepreneur in the space around ethnic hair and young girls at a very early age, sort of taking pride in their hair. What do you think for you Heritage Month means?
It means taking pride in who you are, embracing who you are, understanding that you are beautiful, understanding that being African is okay. I think for a very long time we shied away from celebrating our Africanness, if there's such a word. So heritage for me is that month where we say, I'm African, I'm beautiful, and I belong. That's what it means to me.
And to all the young women out there who are watching you and saying, this story is so inspirational to me. But for whatever reason, wherever I am, I just feel like maybe I can't do it. What are your words of inspiration?
Nothing is unattainable. If you have a dream, you work towards it, you put a plan together, you will be able to achieve it. Yes, there's so many hurdles along the way, and sometimes you might feel like you're not making progress, but just take it a day at a time. I think what I've learned from running my own business is that we always start with these big dreams and we're in a hurry to arrive at a certain point in a very short space of time. But I've recently learned to just, every single day, if you are able to inch closer to wherever it is you're trying to get, you've done really well.
So we have come to the end of today's episode, and I learned so much, and I must say I am deeply, deeply inspired by how much young people in our society are driven by excellence and driven by impact. I mean, you spoke to a young lady who was in construction. I got to speak to young people who also are shaping and redefining the spaces that they're in. And I hope, Kochaya, you're encouraged to do exactly the same way or do the same things and really become an engine and a vehicle of change in your community, right, Mko?
Yep, and we've started the conversations as Expressions, Jackie. That's what is always so exciting about being on the Expressions platform. Thank you so much for your contribution. Till next time, from all of us at Expressions, nsale kahle.
Adios, muchachos. Thanks for watching.